There was a big fat moose. Boo, 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 boo. Like to drink a lot of juice. Like to drink a lot of juice. Encoding overload. Okay, thank gosh. Swear there was an encoding overload. All right, I don't even think that. Actually, I don't even have Discord open. I literally just turned on my computer, opened up everything, and pressed stream because it's 6 o'clock and I haven't read anything. All right, the stream is just basically me finishing Twilight because I didn't get a chance to finish it last time because I was too sleepy. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna read it. Yeah. Let's see. What do we have? So previously, if you weren't there 2 days ago, dang, don't give me that encoding overload, you stinky. Okay, it's gone again. I don't know what's up with that. We weren't here last time. Or if you need a little summary reminder. Last time, Leafpool and Crowfeather, they ran away together, they eloped, they were up to some shindigs. Squirrel Flight and Brambleclaw and some other guys went to WindClan to try and figure out what was happening because they thought Leafpool ran away to WindClan, but then they found out that they just left. And so there's been like a little grievance period where they're like, dang, we lost Leafpool, she's gone forever. And then in Leafpool and Crowfeathers, they were far away, they're just doing some stuff, and then they ran into Midnight, and Midnight was like, hi, what are you guys doing here? And they were like, oh, we're running away because we're in love. And then Midnight was like, oh, that's cool, I'm gonna go to your clans and tell them about the Badgers because the Badgers are really, really mad that you guys kicked them out of their homes. So they're plotting to get together and attack each other. Or attack you guys. And they're like, oh, well, that's not our problem. We're running away. And then they kind of go to sleep. And then they wake up and they're like, no, we have to go save our clans. And they're all happy that they felt the same way. Hi, Cordy. Hi, Pikyo. So they decided to turn around and run back to their clans. Meanwhile, the Badgers did start attacking. So I can't remember. I think they started attacking in the night or something like that. It definitely was like a sneak attack. They weren't really prepared. All what the cats can really do, because Badgers are really strong, is kind of jump on them and then run away and then run back and jump on them again, kind of quick attacks them. So that's what they're doing. And then Squirrel Flight's trying to get Daisy and her kits out of the, gotta take them out like they're titans. Yeah. And so Squirrel Flight is taking Daisy and her kits out through the secret passageway that Leafpool used to use to sneak out to see Crowfeather. You didn't get the ping on Discord? Oh, dang. Well, Discord is being so... I didn't open up Discord, so I don't even know. Wow! Hi, Pipe! And then, and so while Squirrel Flight is taking them out, Sorreltail is giving birth. I think the shock of the Badgers breaking into the clan prompted her to have children. So she's in the process of giving birth. Cinderpelt is running over to help her. Squirrel Flight is helping Daisy and her kids out. And that's where we're at. That's where I stopped last time because I was so tired. So we're gonna quickly finish this book because we are literally 20 pages away from the end. Okay? Let's go. Chapter 22. Squirrelflight shook her head to clear the numbing horror that had gripped her. Her first task was to help her clanmates before she thought about going to join the fight at the entrance to the hollow. Flicking her tail, she led them on again, the noise of battle battering her ears. To her relief, the brambles that shielded the escape route had not been trampled down, leaving just enough space for them to hide. The cats huddled together in the thorn-circled gap and gazed uncertainly at the wall that loomed above them. "It's not that difficult to climb," Squirrelflight promised. "I'll show you. Here, Brambleclaw, give me the kit. If a badger spots us, keep it busy." A pang shot through her as she realized how absolutely she trusted the tabby warrior to guard them when they retreated. Brambleclaw flicked her ear gently with his tail and set down Berrykit so she could grip its scruff between her teeth. The tiny scrap had stopped complaining. Now it looked stunned with terror. Squirrelflight clenched her jaw and launched herself upward, scrabbling out of the brambles and digging her claws into a bush rooted a couple of tail lengths up the wall. Berrykit let out a squeak as she accidentally let him bang against the rock. "Sorry." Pushing madly with her hind legs, she reached a ledge where the rock had fallen. "Hi, Otherworldly!" And from there she could scramble up with tussocks of grass for paw holds until she stood on the edge of the hollow. She dived into the clump of fern she had used to hide when she followed Leafpool and set Berrykit down, giving him a swift, rough lick. "There, little one, you're safe now." She lifted her head cautiously above the ferns. The roar of battle in the clearing was muted up here, and the scent of badgers much fainter. She didn't think any of the hostile creatures were in this part of the forest. Keeping so low that her belly fur brushed the grass, she left the shelter of the ferns and peered over the edge of the hollow. "It's okay up here," she called. "You can come up." Cloudtail was already climbing with Hazelkit in his jaws, dragging himself up without putting too much pressure on his injured foreleg. Squirrelflight showed him where to put the kit next to her brother, and he let her drop into the soft ferns with a sigh of relief. Brightheart was right behind him with Mousekit. "You stay here," Cloudtail told her. "Daisy and the kits will need some cat with them, in case the badgers come." "You stay then." Brightheart glared at him. "I'm going back to fight. You're injured." "For StarClan's sake, this isn't a time to have an argument," Squirrelflight snapped. "We're all going back. Daisy will have to cope on her own. ThunderClan needs all its warriors down there." Brightheart swung around and vanished over the edge. Cloudtail muttered, "She-cats," and followed her. Squirrelflight checked the kits once more, saw them safe in a squirming heap among the ferns, and turned back to the hollow in time to see Daisy pull herself up and stand panting on the edge. Where are my kits?" she gasped. Squirrelflight pointed with her tail, and the horse-placed cat rushed over to the ferns. "Thank you," she meowed, glancing back before she pushed her way among the stalks. "And good luck." "We'll need it," Squirrelflight replied grimly as she gathered herself to scramble back down the cliff into the clearing. Down on the ground, Brambleclaw was still keeping guard. Ferncloud and Birchpaw were with him. The young apprentice had survived the badger attack, but part of the fur on his haunches had been ripped off, and one eye was almost closed. His mother was bleeding from claw marks along her side. "Look, Ferncloud, you can climb out here." Brambleclaw meowed as Squirrelflight leapt the last couple tailings and landed neatly beside him. "Take Birchpaw with you." Birchpaw looked too dazed to figure out an escape route, but Ferncloud nudged him gently over to the rock wall. "Stay close to him," Squirrelflight warned. "Daisy and her kits are up there already. They'll be glad to have a warrior to protect them." Ferncloud gave her a grateful nod and followed Birchpaw as the apprentice began scrambling upwards through the thorns. Brambleclaw was peering out from behind the screen of brambles. "I'm going to help Firestar defend the entrance," he mewed. Squirrelflight drew her breath in painfully. "Is Firestar still alive?" "I spotted him a few moments ago," Brambleclaw reassured her. "The battle isn't over yet. I'll see you later." He sped off with a twitch of his tail. Squirrelflight's heart lurched suddenly as she saw him vanish into the thickest of the fighting. Would they really see each other again? Or was it too late to put right everything that had gone wrong between them? Unable to bear the thought of losing Brambleclaw now, Squirrelflight was about to follow him when she heard a cat wailing somewhere close by. Staring around the hollow, she caught a glimpse of Sootfur, his black pelt barely visible in the shadows. She could tell he was badly wounded, because he was dragging himself along the ground as if he couldn't use his back legs. Oh my god. "Sootfur, over here!" The black warrior raised his head, too confused by pain to know where the cry had come from. Squirrelflight darted out to him and managed to nudge him to his paws, letting him lean on her shoulder as she guided him back to the screen of brambles. You can get out this way, she meowed, gesturing with her tail to the route up the wall. Sitfur blinked drops of blood out of his eyes. Can't climb, he gasped. You've got to! Squirrelflight pushed him over to the wall. Sitfur clawed desperately, but both his back legs were broken, and he couldn't use them to thrust himself upwards. He managed to haul himself a few tail lengths from the ground, then slipped back down again with a shrill cry of pain. At the same moment, a badger appeared, breaking down the bramble screen and lunging at Sitfur. Squirrelflight glimpsed healed scars running along its side. Her claws flecked instinctively with the memory of tearing through that coarse black fur. This must be the female they had driven out of their territory. For a moment, she locked gazes with the furious creature. To think I felt sorry for you, she thought. Do I really deserve this? Sitfur lifted his head, snarling, and lashed out with one forepaw while Squirrelflight leapt on top of the badger from behind, biting down hard on its hind leg. It flung her off as if she were a fly. She crashed into the rocks and lay stunned for a couple of heartbeats. When she managed to scramble up again, the badger was lumbering off into the darkness, leaving the black warrior lying ominously still. Sitfur, no! Squirrelflight staggered over to him. There was a new gash in his throat, and his eyes glazed sightlessly into the sky. Rest in peace, Sitfur. Hi, cat! Great star, Glenn! Squirrelflight yowled. Why are you letting this happen? But there was no time to grieve for her clanmate. She had to get back to the nursery. Instead of returning the way she had come, she risked a dash across the middle of the clearing, skidding around, screeching bundles of claws and fur. Or did they have unique names for humans but not other animals? That's a very good question. That is a very, very good question. Oh boy, another death and another path of vengeance. We can't win, a voice shrieked inside her head. There are too many of them. Refusing to listen, she slashed at the eye of a badger that tried to block the way, spitting fiercely until it backed off. When she reached the nursery, she found Brakenfur crouched in the entrance, his lip drawn back in a snarl as he challenged a young badger. The creature hesitated, as if it thought there might be easier prey. A couple of fox lengths away, Ashfur was fighting with an older, bigger badger. Squirrelflight watched in dismay as it caught the gray warrior with a blow to the side of his head, throwing him to the ground. Squirrelflight let out a screech. Springing forward, she hurled into the badger's flank, forcing it off balance. It lurched sideways, leaving its underbelly exposed. Squirrelflight dived between its paws and raked it with her foreclaws. The badger let out a growl of fury. Pain flooded through Squirrelflight as she felt long claws sink into her shoulder and flip her onto her back. The weight of the badger forced all the breath from her chest as it landed on top of her. She felt as if it were pushing her into the ground. She could imagine her bones cracking. She choked on a mouthful of hot fur and fought for air as her senses spun away. Suddenly, the weight lifted and she could breathe again. Gasping, she staggered to her paws to see Ashfur gripping the badger's foreleg with his teeth, his body whipping from side to side as the badger tried to shake him off. With a yowl of fury, Squirrelflight dashed in on the other side. The badger swung its head around, jaws snapping for her. She ducked away from it, slashing at its throat and dodging out of range before it could swat her with her paw. Meanwhile, Ashfur had dropped to the ground and darted forward, distracting the creature's attention from Squirrelflight long enough for her to dash in again and rake her claws over its shoulders. The badger wove back and forth, never managing to land a blow. Its growls rose into a roar of frustration and it turned tail, fleeing towards the entrance. Squirrelflight exchanged a triumphant glance with Ashfur, then spun around to check the nursery. Brakenfur was still tussling the young badger. His teeth were fastened in its ear. Before Squirrelflight or Ashfur could move, it dislodged the ginger warrior with one swat from its blunt claws, then thrust its way into the nursery. Squirrelflight froze as a terrible shriek rose from the bramble thicket. Starkland, help me! My God. I lay down, now I'm poofed. I did stock and it was all heavy boxes and my tummy got the hurt. No, cool. I'm so sad, cat. I'm so sorry. Be still. The hand that guides mind's blade. Chapter 23. Leafpool and Crowfeather paused beside the stepping stones that led across the stream into ThunderClan territory. Night had fallen and a thin crescent moon rode high in the sky. They had traveled all day, only stopping at sun-high long enough to devour a rabbit Crowfeather had caught on the moorland. Now Leafpool's paws were sore and her heart pounded with mounting fear. Goodbye, she murmured, pushing her nose into Crowfeather's fur. I'll see you again when this is all over. What do you mean goodbye? Crowfeather demanded. I'm not leaving you when there are hostile badgers around. But you need to warn WindClan. I know, and I will. But I'll see you to your camp first. It won't take long. Seeing the stubborn light in his eyes, Leafpool knew she would only waste time by arguing. Leaping swiftly from one stepping stone to the next, she led the way down the slope and into the shelter of the trees. It was a relief to enter the woods after traveling for so long under the open sky, but Leafpool's feeling of homecoming didn't last long. Almost at once, a rank scent drifted around them, masking all other scents of the forest. Badgers! Crowfeather growled. Leafpool was too terrified to speak. Although she was exhausted from the long trek over the moors, she picked up her pace until she was racing through the trees, the gray-black warrior at her shoulder. As they drew closer to the ThunderClan camp, she heard the sounds from her dreams she had been dreading every paw step of the journey. The yowls of fighting cats mingled with the deeper roars of her enemies. Badgers had broken into camp. Whipping around... When she reached the edge of the hollow, she heard a rustle among the ferns and a cat wailing. More of them! Oh, help! Whipping around, Leafpool saw Ferncloud and Daisy peering up from under a clump of bracken. It was Daisy who had cried out. Leafpool! Ferncloud exclaimed. What? She broke off and added, No, don't stop. Go and help the clan. Leafpool and Crowfeather ran on, down the slope that led to the entrance. The thorn barrier that was supposed to protect the camp had been utterly destroyed, trampled down by monstrous paws. Beyond the scattering branches, badgers filled the hollow, their thick furred shoulders heaving as they pounced and fought. Leafpool caught a glimpse of her father, a wild light in his green eyes as he rallied his clan with sweeping gestures of his tail. Follow me! Drive them out! He yowled as he leapt at the nearest badger, a huge male with a scarred muzzle. Dustpelt and Brambleclaw were hard on his paws. Dustpelt hurled himself at the badger's shoulder, scoring its pelt with outstretched claws. Brambleclaw flung himself at another creature that stood growling a tail length away, springing up as it lowered its head and fastening its teeth into his ear. Around the edge of the clearing, the dens that were barely 2 moons old were torn, their branches scattered, so that Leafpool scarcely recognized her home. One massive badger was crashing through the warrior's den in pursuit of Rain Whisker. Another rolled around a tail length from Leafpool, locked in combat with Spiderleg, while Sandstorm sank her teeth into its hind leg. I'm too late, Leafpool thought in dismay. She couldn't see Midnight anywhere among the badgers. Perhaps her vengeful kin had caught her on her way to ThunderClan and stopped her from warning the cats. Maybe they'd even killed her. Throwing off the horror that froze her paws, Leafpool tore through the trampled thorns into the clearing. There must be something she could do to help her clanmates, something more than just die at their side. She was about to hurl herself into battle when an eerie shriek rose above the rest of the clamor. It came from the nursery, the only clump of thorns that remained standing. Cinderpelt! She gasped to Crowfeather. As if her paws had wings, she streaked across the clearing, barely aware of a badger that lunged for her, only to fall back as Crowfeather flew at it, spitting and clawing. He was hard on her paws as she raced up to the nursery. Just outside, a ginger cat was laying in the dust, a badger looming over her. Squirrelflight! Leafpool yowled. Her claws sank into the badger's leg, its head swung around, jaws snapping. Crowfeather thrust himself in front of Leafpool, his claws raking the badger's eyes. With a bellow of pain, it reared back and lurched away. Leafpool flung herself down beside her sister. Only the link that still connected them told her sister wasn't dead. Relief swept through her from ears to tail tip as Squirrelflight raised her head, blinking confusedly. Leafpool, you came back? Yes, I'm here. Are you hurt? Yeah, she is. Squirrelflight took in a huge gasping breath. Only winded. Leafpool in there. Her gaze flicked to the nursery. In there. Squirrelflight was Sorreltail. Kit's coming. Badger broken. A fresh wave of terror flooded over Leafpool. I'm too late. She plunged past Squirrelflight into the nursery. The shadows inside were filled with the sound of vicious snarling, cut through with a wail of terror. Leafpool recognized Sorreltail's voice. Sorreltail, it's me, Leafpool. Where's Cinderpelt? In the darkness, she could make out nothing but a huge humped shape. The stench of Badger filled the whole nursery. She hurled herself forward and collided with the solid flank covered in coarse fur. Raking her claws down the Badger's side, she gasped, Out! Get out! The invader turned its head towards her. She caught the gleam of bright, malignant eyes and knew she was living out her nightmare of the rolling black mist. Lashing out with one paw, she scored the Badger across its nose and saw blood splatter out, its hot scent mingling with the reek of Badger. A paw swept up to bat at her, but before the blow fell, Crowfeather appeared next to her, slashing at the Badger's muzzle. The Badger let out a howl of pain. Turning it thrust Leafpool aside and made for the nursery entrance, breaking down more of the brambles as it went. Watery shafts of moonlight filtered through the gaps, revealing the horrified faces of Squirrelflight and Ashfur looking in. What's going on? Is Cinderpelt hurt? Squirrelflight asked hoarsely. I don't know yet, Leafpool replied. Her voice shook with fear. I'll look after her. You stay on guard. Her sister nodded and went back to the entrance with Ashfur. Crowfeather touched noses briefly with Leafpool before following them. Call me if you need me, he meowed. The floor of the nursery was covered with a thick layer of moss and fern. Sorreltail lay at the far side, her head raised and her eyes staring in horror. A powerful ripple passed along her belly, and Leafpool realized that her kits were about to be born. She started to cross the nursery, but stopped when her paws brushed against a broken, motionless body. Cinderpelt lay on her side in the bed of moss, her paws and tail limp, her eyes closed. Blood spilled slowly from a gash in her side. Cinderpelt, Leafpool whispered. Cinderpelt, it's me, Leafpool. Wake up! The medicine cat's eyes twitched open, and she gazed up at Leafpool. Leafpool, she rasped. I prayed to StarClan you would come back. I should have never left you. Leafpool crouched beside her mentor, breathing in the familiar, comforting scent. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Cinderpelt, please don't die. She scooped a pawful of moss from the floor and pressed it against the wound in Cinderpelt's side. You're going to be fine, she mewed. As soon as the bleeding stops, I'll fetch some marigold to make sure the wound doesn't get infected, and some poppy seeds for the pain. You'll be able to have a good long sleep, and you'll feel much better when you wake up. Stop it, Leafpool, Cinderpelt whispered. There's no point. Leafpool saw her eyes gleam dully in the shadows. I'm gonna join StarClan. Don't say that, Leafpool protested, clawing up more moss and thrusting it against the tide of blood that showed no sign of stopping. The medicine cat tried to lift her head, but the effort was too much for her, and she let it fall again. It's all right, she murmured. StarClan told me they would come for me soon. This is the fate they have laid down for me. You knew? Leafpool felt as though a dark chasm had opened up in front of her paws, and she was crashing helplessly into its depths. You knew you were going to die and you didn't tell me? It was my destiny, not yours. But you knew I was meeting Crowfeather. You knew that if I went away, ThunderClan would be left without a medicine cat. Cinderpelt, you should have forced me to stay. Her mentor blinked slowly. Her blue eyes were very bright. I would never force you to do anything, Leafpool. I didn't want you to stay if it was going to make you unhappy. You must want to be a medicine cat with all your heart. I do, Leafpool whispered. I do. Follow your heart, Spotted Leaf had said. You are a wonderful medicine cat, Cinderpelt told her. No, I'm not. I went away and left you and my clan. Oh, Cinderpelt, I'm so sorry. The tip of Cinderpelt's tail gave a tiny, restless twitch. There's nothing to forgive. I'm happy to join StarClan, knowing that ThunderClan will be cared for. No! Leafpool cried, as if by sheer force of wishing she could turn back time and prevent her mentor's death. This is all my fault. I should have been here. I should... Cinderpelt shook her head. It would have made no difference, she mewed. We cannot change our destiny. We just have to have the courage to know what it is and accept it. She let out a long sigh. StarClan are waiting for me. Goodbye, Leafpool. Her eyes closed. Her body jerked once, then lay still. Cinderpelt! Leafpool pushed her nose deep into her mentor's fur. She felt as if all the frosts of Leaf Bear were gathering in her limbs. A few moments later, she felt a warm pelt brush against her side and realized that Crowfeather was crouching beside her. I'm sorry, Leafpool, he murmured. I know what she meant to you. She taught me everything, and now she's dead, Leafpool wailed. I don't know what to do. I trusted Spotted Leaf. She told me to follow my heart, but she knew Cinderpelt was going to die. How could she do that? Crowfeather pressed closer to her and drew his tongue over her face and ears with gentle, comforting strokes. You did follow your heart, he meowed. Your heart told you to come home. You could never be happy away from your clan. Leafpool turned her head and saw pain glisten in his amber eyes. But what about you? She whispered. Crowfeather bowed his head. Your heart lies here, not with me. It was never truly with me. Leafpool felt as though she were being torn in two, but she knew Crowfeather was right. She loved him, but not enough. For a few heartbeats, she leaned into him, feeling his warmth and strength for the last time. Then she touched Cinderpelt's fur with her nose. It's all right, she murmured. I'll stay here and take good care of the clan. I promise. One day we'll meet again. Walk among the stars. For a moment she thought she felt the brush of two pelts against hers, and she smelled two familiar scents as Spotted Leaf and Cinderpelt wound around her. StarClan is with you, Leafpool, Spotted Leaf murmured, and Cinderpelt added, We'll always be watching over you. Then they were gone. Leafpool was crouching on the floor of the nursery, with the roar of battle still outside, and Sorreltail gasping in the far corner as her kits fought their way into the world. Your friend needs your help, Crowfeather meowed. Can I do anything? Just help the others keep the badgers off. Leafpool was amazed at how calm her voice sounded. If you get the chance, ask some cat to show you Cinderpelt's den and fetch some watermint. But if you can't, I'll manage without it. It's more important to keep the badgers out of here. The gray-black warrior dipped his head and slipped away. Leafpool picked her way around Cinderpelt's body and across the mossy bedding until she reached Sorreltail's sides. Don't worry, she assured her friend. I'm here now. Everything's going to be fine. Well, rest in peace, Cinderpelt. Hi, Kaito. Thank you so much for the lurk. And thank you for the gifted sub to Ori. I don't know when you gave me that, but thank you so much. Oh, I don't... Yeah, you know this one. My notifications are broke. I think something went wrong. I don't know what happened. Ash didn't get a notification either from Discord, so... Who knows? Maybe I need to make sure that it's linked properly again? Who knows? Wait, when did I get that? Oh, hi! Ori! Sneaking around here. Oh my goodness. Alright. Guys, we're like 10 pages away from the end. I missed 20 minutes. You missed the... Well, you came just in time. You came just in time to see, death. And I need to remember to do Cordy's Diva Frog. I forgot to do that last time because I was so sneepy. Chapter 24! Let's go! Squirrelflight leapt around at the sound of paw steps behind her. Crowfeather was emerging from the nursery. What's happening in there? She demanded. The Wind Clan warrior stared at her as if he were looking straight through her. Cinderpelt's dead, he meowed hoarsely. Squirrelflight's belly clenched. It couldn't be true. StarClan couldn't be that cruel. She wanted to rush into the nursery to see for herself and comfort her sister, but she knew she had to stay where she was, guarding Sorreltail while her kits arrived. In front of her, the hollow was emptying as if some of the badgers had been chased off, but the cats still weren't winning the fight. There were too many unmoving heaps of fur sprawled on the ground, too much blood sinking into the paw-trodden earth. A few fox lengths away, Squirrelflight could see Firestar and Breakenfur battling a long-legged male badger, darting forward to confuse it. The badger swiped at them with massive paws. It couldn't be long before one of the blows landed, hard enough to smash a cat's skull or break a limb. Her belly churned as she looked for Brambleclaw, but she couldn't see him. Crowfeather crouched beside her, his amber eyes burning as he gazed across the clearing. You wouldn't think he'd be so upset about the death of another clan's medicine cat, Ashfur muttered into Squirrelflight's ears. Squirrelflight didn't say anything. She knew the gray-black warrior wasn't just grieving for Cinderpelt. He's grieving because they just broke up. Another badger lumbered out of the shadows, its jaw open to reveal 2 rows of pointed yellow teeth. It was bleeding heavily from one shoulder. Squirrelflight's belly twisted as she imagined what might have happened to the warrior who had inflicted the wound. Ashfur leapt out to confront the creature before it got too close to the nursery, and Squirrelflight sprang up to follow. Crowfeather, guard the entrance, she yowled. But before she could join Ashfur, she was distracted by a terrified wail. Glancing over her shoulder, she saw Whitepaw flat on the ground by a trampled barrier, frozen with terror as a badger loomed over her. Squirrelflight swerved and pelted over to the apprentice's side. She aimed outstretched claws, then pulled back without striking and stared up in disbelief. It's okay, Whitepaw, she choked out after a moment. This is Midnight. Greetings, small warrior, Midnight rasped. Squirrelflight's instinctive reaction had been relief, but then her suspicion flared up. Was Midnight here to fight on behalf of her kin? Squirrelflight took a pace backwards until she was standing protectively over Whitepaw. What are you doing here? She demanded. No need for fear, Midnight reassured her. My way is not to fight. I bring help. She cocked her head to one side as if she were listening to something, then stepped aside to let a river of cats stream into camp. Strong, fresh warriors who fell on the badgers with yowls of fury. Tornier, Ashfoot, Whitetail, One Star. WindClan had come to help them. The badger that had been fighting with Firestar and Breakenfur staggered back, turned tail, and ran. Firestar and Webfoot chased after it, hissing. Nightcloud and One Star joined Ashfur to chase off the badger that had come too close to the nursery. Squirrelflight dashed forward to help, but she realized all the invaders were fleeing from the clearing. She skidded to a halt and watched them blunder through the broken branches that lay across the entrance to the hollow. Relief stabbed Squirrelflight as she spotted Brambleclaw standing a little ways off, his sides heaving with effort. She caught his eye and saw her own surprise reflected at the arrival of the clan who had so recently rejected their friendship. Ashfur's badger lumbered past her with Nightcloud and One Star hard on its paws. One Star halted in front of Brambleclaw as the badger scrambled over the remains of the thorn barrier and vanished into the trees. You came, Brambleclaw meowed. Of course we came. Pride kindled in One Star's eyes. There are 4 clans in the forest, but we can still help one another. Ashfur staggered to a stop beside Squirrelflight, and she turned to lick his wounds. He had lost fur from his shoulder and one side, and there was a deep gash on his foreleg. Even as she took care of him, she tried to push aside the thought that she hadn't been as frightened for him as she had been for Brambleclaw. You'd better have Leafpool look at that, she told him. She'd almost said Cinderpelt. Later, he meowed. It's nothing serious. I couldn't believe it when I saw One Star and his warriors, he added. I thought we were all going to join StarClan. Not yet, Scarflight assured him. But the grim truth of what had happened swept over her, and she felt like wailing out loud. How many cats were dead besides Cinderpelt and Sootfur? How many more would die of their injuries? The last of the badgers were disappearing with WindClan in pursuit. The exhausted ThunderClan warriors began to gather in the center of the camp around midnight. Their eyes were stunned with horror, as if they couldn't believe the battle was over. Whitepaw scrambled to her paws and ran over to Cloudtail and Brightheart, who were slowly approaching from the direction of the Elder's den. Cloudtail's white fur was caked with blood and dust, and he leaned heavily on Brightheart's shoulder. Mousefur guided Longtail down from the high ledge, glancing around with narrowed eyes as if she wasn't sure all the enemies had gone. Goldenflower followed a moment later. Brambleclaw, Thornclaw, and Sandstorm joined them. Dustpelt limped up, fear in his eyes as he scanned the clearing. "Ferncloud?" he rasped. "Birchpaw?" "They're fine," Squirrelflight reassured him. "They got out of the camp. They're looking after Daisy and her kits." The brown tabby warrior visibly relaxed, collapsing on the ground to lick a wound on his shoulders. "Nice, Kaito!" Firestar staggered up and halted in front of Midnight, gazing up uncertainly as if he wondered why this badger wasn't fleeing. As he tensed his muscles ready to attack, Squirrelflight stepped forward quickly. "Firestar, this is Midnight," she meowed. "The badger we met at the Sundrown place. Midnight, this is our clan leader, Firestar." Relief flooded Firestar's green eyes. "The badger who warned us to leave the forest?" He dipped his head. "You're welcome here." "Good it is to be here," Midnight told him, "and to see again friends from Journey. Yet I wish time was happier." "So do we all." Firestar let out an exhausted sigh. "You knew about this then? You came to warn us?" "No, she came to warn us." One Star padded up to Firestar's side. "And to ask for our help." "Attack came before I expect," Midnight explained. "No use come alone to ThunderClan. Best to find more fighting cats first." Firestar blinked gratefully. "We're glad you did. Thanks StarClan you found out what your kin were planning." "First in stars I see it," the old badger told him. "Then I go to my kin, try to speak of peace, but they not listen. And little they tell me. They call me cat friend, and other insults more worse." Squirrelflight flexed her claws. "I wish I'd ripped a bit more fur off, just for you, Midnight." The badger shrugged. "Is not important, except I might have got here more sooner. RiverClan they hated it most," she added. "Warriors there drive them out first." "We better send a message to Leopardstar," Firestar meowed. "The badgers could still attack there." Squirrelflight's shoulders sagged at the thought of trekking all the way around the lake to RiverClan. "No need," rasped Midnight. "My kin in no state fight more. They think twice before bothering cats again." "Thanks StarClan for that," Squirrelflight murmured. She was wondering how soon she would be able to crawl into what remained of the warrior's den to sleep when she heard her sister's voice behind her. "Breakenfur? Is Breakenfur here?" The ginger warrior was laying in a patch of ferns at the edge of the clearing. His blood was trickling into the dust as he looked barely conscious. He lifted his head as Leafpool came up to him. "Sorreltail?" He lurched unsteadily to his paws. "It's Sorreltail, isn't it? Is she all right?" Leafpool brushed against his pelt. She looked exhausted, too. "She's fine. She has 4 healthy kits." "4?" Breakenfur's tail curled up. "That's great. Thanks, Leafpool." He raced across the camp and into the nursery. Squirrelflight watched him go. Thanks to WindClan, they had won the battle. ThunderClan had survived greater disasters than this, and sooner or later the clan would be as strong as ever. The 4 scraps of new life in the nursery seemed like a promise from StarClan. "Thank you, Kaito!" Yet life had ended too. ThunderClan would mourn Cinderpelt's death for a long time, but it would have been even worse if Leafpool hadn't returned. Squirrelflight rasped her tongue over his sister's ears. "I'm so glad you came back." Leafpool glanced over at Crowfeather, who was still crouched outside the nursery, then turned back to her sister. "I'm glad to be back too." Crowfeather stood up as the WindClan cats came back into camp. "Look, it's Crowfeather!" Whitetail exclaimed. "What's he doing here?" One Star stalked over to stand in front of the gray-black warrior. "Crowfeather, you came back, but not to your own clan." Crowfeather looked at him steadily. I wanted to bring Leafpool safely to our own camp first. I'm ready to come home now." "We have more things to talk about, but now is not the time," One Star meowed. Crowfeather dipped his head and fell in behind his leader as One Star padded over to Firestar. "One Star, Every cat in ThunderClan thanks you, Firestar meowed. Without you, StarClan would have gained many more warriors. You've helped WindClan in the past, One Star replied. It's only right that we should come and help you. We won't forget, Firestar began. He was interrupted by a startled yowl from Thornclaw, who was closest to the camp entrance. Squirrelflight stiffened. Has the badgers come back? She didn't think she could lift a single paw now, even to save her life. But her exhaustion vanished when she saw two cats carefully picking their way through the scattered thorn bushes. The first of them, a powerful warrior with a thick gray pelt, stopped at the edge of the clearing and looked around. This isn't what I expected to find. This isn't what I expected to find, he meowed. What happened? Squirrelflight stared in disbelief. After the badger attack, she had thought nothing else could shock her, but for a heartbeat, she forgot how to breathe. Gazing curiously around them, sleek-furred and calm among the shattered clan, were Stormfur and Brooke. What? Wait, it ended there. Huh? I don't remember that. Stormfur? Brooke? What the? Well, that's the end of the book. The heck? What the? Well, we finished it, guys. We finished the book. It took 44 minutes to finally finish it. After all these weeks, we've gotten to it. And now we have one more book left of Warrior Cats, the second series, The New Prophecy. And then we can go into Warriors, The Power of Three. My favorite series. Thank you for the croissants. Thank you for the croissants. Phew. Okay. Things I've learned in the past little while. I get so tired after work. I don't know how to not be tired after work. Should I just stream immediately after I come home, do you think? And then ride it out until I get too exhausted and then go to sleep? Because I feel like if I get home and then I nap and then I stream afterwards, I don't really have sometimes I'll just wake up and be like, oh, it's too late to stream, you know? You know, guys? I don't know. Resources. I'm just quickly changing Cordy to Diva. Was Cordy, right? I'm pretty sure it was Cordy. Widget settings, villagers, custom villagers. No, that's not it. Use permanent villagers assignment. Add new username for Cordy Cap. Diva. Exclusive. There we go. Save widget. Open it here. Download documents. Downloads and documents. Replace file and destination. All right, and then we'll just want to check to make sure it works. I don't know if Cordy's here to say anything, but there we go. Okay, it should be okay. Just wanted to make sure I didn't forget to do that again. So it's good that I could do it on stream. Dang, my bitrate is funky wonky. Screensaver, Marcus complete, dad joke, micro, Kayo. Gibbisms. I take Diva the Froggo. Yeah, okay. Nice. All right. So I think my dinner is ready. I just wanted to quickly finish that. Thank you guys for coming along. What did I want to say? I wanted to say... My in real life friend found out I'm a VTuber today, which was pretty wild. She might be listening right now. Shout out to you. I don't know if she's here or not. She said, I'll watch your next stream. And then I said, I'm just going to be finishing reading a Warrior Cat book. And she was like, okay. So yeah, I think I have a stream tomorrow with Dun. I'm not sure what time it's going to be because I have a few things I have to do. But if it's later, I don't think it'll be too bad. So yeah. I think we're going to play Portal 2 because I had a lot of fun playing Portal. Can I see? No, I can't. Is that it? Oh, I wanted to... No, I didn't. Hi, Penty! How are you? Each passing day, my faith in Rain World streams falters further. Okay, I've been a little tempted to play Rain World though. I miss... Okay, I'm gonna tell you something, Ash, and you have to abuse it, okay? Every time I see the scavengers, you know those little scavengers gifts that you send in the chat sometimes, and it's like they're like tapping on their little computers, the like scrungly looking scavengers. Every time you post one of those, I feel a little closer to needing to play. Yeah, just post a bunch of them and eventually I'll cave because I love them so much. It's just my little guy friends, you know? You weaponize them. Good. Good. I'm giving you a dagger. I'm handing it to you and I'm telling you to stab me. Oh, I'm glad that you're doing good though, Penty, and that your stuff is getting through. I'm good too! I'm really tired. I'm feeling ups and downs because I really want to be streaming, but I'm always working now. I'm not working full time, but they put me to basically the edge of my part-time hours. So I'm they're exhausting all the hours they can give me, basically. And it means that I'm a little not as powerful and I'm sleepy all the time. Full part-time, exactly. And it's good because I'm getting paid and it's important. But and then I'm not as happy because I feel bad because when I get home I'm really tired and then I can't do things. So I think the cure is to figure out how to keep myself awake. I have to, because technically I'm sleeping long enough, right? I'm going to bed at a reasonable time and then I'm waking up. So I'm getting all my hours sleep. I'm just waking up so early I get tired. Should I drink energy drinks? I don't know, because I would need to drink them every single time I work. Sleep is for the weak. I am weak. Honestly, I'm glad I'm full part-time and not full-time, because if I was actually full-time, they would be giving me even more hours. Like, I know they would be. And I've been part-time long enough that I have all the full-time benefits now anyways, so it doesn't really matter. You're weak too. We're all weak, except Ash, I guess. I've been working for the same company for over a decade. Haha, started out full-time hours, but PT benefits. What the? That's dumb. You started out full-time, but they only gave you part-time benefits? Me too. I think for me, it's also, even if I do sleep the right amount of hours in the night, I wake up so often in the night that I'm tired. I need to figure out how to keep myself awake. Do you think my ADHD medicine will keep me awake? Go and look this up. Does ADHD meds keep you awake. I'm tired except for when I'm trying to sleep. Heck yes. The stimulant medications often used to treat ADHD can make you feel more awake and can make sleeping harder. It can, the wife takes the word you almost said. I didn't know how to pronounce it. This is something. Apparently, though, they're releasing a generic brand of that, so I don't have to pay as much money to get it. The thing is, the medicine that they're giving me, the dosage is too low for me, so it's not doing anything. And they gave me enough to last like 3 or 2 months or something. 3 months. And it's like, I don't feel a point to take them if they're not doing anything for 3 months until... I guess I could technically call my doctor and ask if I can take 2. Like, so double dose it. I'm just hoping the new year brings good fortune. Yeah, me too. I hope so. What's the medicine? It's Vice something? Vister... Vice... Generics, yes! Recently was put up to new medication. Honestly, I have to get another appointment and say, this ain't doing nothing, dog. They were like, okay. Yeah. That's the hard part. When I was so lucky with my anxiety meds, like I just had to take, I think the first few dosage, we increased it and it worked. Like it was working, and then I just continued increasing it, and now I'm at the perfect amount. So that's really good. But my sister wasn't as lucky. Like she has a bunch of different things that she has to take meds for, and like it was a battle for her to find like the right dosage and the right brand and the right like combination. So I feel bad for her. And now I'm kind of doing it with this stuff. Just on a new antidepressant, my brain's like, this is what emotions are, but you're not sad anymore. Oh no! That's the worst! But hey, good job, you two, getting some answers and trying to... Yeah, baby, we're making progress! People with ADHD are more likely to have insomnia. Taking ADHD meds can also cause insomnia. I got that dog in me. The dog in question, anxiety-ridden chihuahua. Real. I don't think... Okay. Do you think chihuahuas are more anxiety-filled than whippets? Because I feel like whippets are so much more anxiety. They're like the anxiety dog. The problem's so bad that ADHDers are 2 times more likely to suffer high-level insomnia than those without the disorder. Oh, that sucks. Manage daytime symptoms. Traditionally, these medications come in a 4-hour dose. For the last 20 years or so, something blah, 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 blah. There are only 24 hours in a day. 16-hour pill only leaves 8 hours for sleep, assuming it wears off. This is too long. I don't have time to read this. Little elf gnomes. Chihuahuas are cute depending on them, and they're more like anger incarnates. Yeah, that sort of thing. What's a whippet? It's like a greyhound, but smaller. It's like a greyhound dog, but teeny tinier. I heard whippet, I thought of the actual alcoholic kind. What the? Silly goose. There's cookies called whippets? Yeah, whippets are like smaller greyhounds, and you will always see them wearing like cute little jackets and like little sweaters because they're like naked and they have to keep warm, and they always have their tail tucked between their legs and trembling because they're so scared or cold. It's hard to tell. But they're so cute. I really wanted a Borzoi, but I don't know if I'll ever get a house that has like a big enough garden or backyard to house a Borzoi because they need a lot of places to run. I think I'd settle for a Whippet because they're still like the same shape as a Borzoi, just not as long, but very funny looking, you know? Like I could like carry that baby in my arms with a little sweater. So cute. Like my dog really went, you're like super healthy. Just do a little more exercise. And all in all, you're epic. Keep it up. Aww. Your dog really said, oh, I thought you said your dog. Your dog said that. And I was like imagining like your dog like coming up to you being like, come on, let's go walking. Come on, let's go. It'll be good. You're healthy, happy time. Let's go. Instead of going, oh, dang. I wish I had a dog. I want another doggo, but I'm still renting and I don't want to make them feel crowded. I know I've asked you what kind of dog you have, Phil, but I'm going to ask you again, and then you can remind me. Is it a golden? Is it a golden retriever? A little baby? Gonna learn to do stuff? Okay! I'm probably gonna end really soon because I think my salmon, my dinner is ready. Whippets as pets. Can run fast. High quality, all life stage food. Training. Proper training and socialization are important. Without exercise, you may see some destructive indoor habits. Prone to von Willebrand's disease. Anesthesia sensitivity and progressive retinal atrophy. Dang. Vipit. Healer, all Australian cat. Oh yeah! The cattle doggies! I love those guys. They're so spotted. The Aussie is ridden with anxiety, but it's more separation, so he's constantly, oh, poor puppy. He's a dork, but I love him. Does he have brown in him? I love the cattle dogs with like nice brown colors. Kind of looks like a little deer. Red with white spots? No way. Send pictures in the Discord. Please. Pretty please. That's like the kind of cattle dog I would love so much. A red, bro, what is up with you guys in the cool red orange doggies? Cat, post yours as well. He only has white paws. What the? Oh, so cute. You have a bird? Pride, what the heck? Oh, thank you for the cool Abby. Hello? Please send your picture of your birdie. I want to see your birdie. I'll send a picture of my cats. Speaking of, I woke up in the night last night and Honey and Kermie, they were sleeping beside me and they were like laying next to each other. It was so cute. Birdie likes Abby more than me. True. What kind of birdie is it? How's your baby doing? My kitty, we got her medicine and she's doing a lot better. I give it to her. I think she only needed like, a cockatiel. Oh, God. Oh my gosh. Wait, send so many pictures. Please. Roxas. Yeah, she's doing a lot better. I think I literally gave her the eye drops for 2 days and they look so much better. She wasn't very bad, which is really good. I think it's because I was pretty diligent in cleaning out her eyes to make sure that she could open them and see. She still gets some crusties, but I give her eye drops still, so it's good. We had a cockatiels. We were hungry. We named them Big Mac, Milkshake, and French Fry. Kat, your pets have the coolest names. I don't understand how. You come up with the funniest names. Found a decent one and posted. Oh, I'm running. Discord. I'm howling at the moon and sleeping in the middle of a summer afternoon. What is this? What's new? A lovely note to your next Nitro gift. Choose a selection of virtual greeting cards. Wow. Now you gotta sing the full song? Ever. Celebi Cocoa Cream Creature Kronos Sylvester. Got pics of my birdie. I'm here. Got it. Oh, it did. Okay, so the live ping did ping, but it's just being a stinky, I guess. Where are these pets? Where are these pets? I want to see the pet. Oh, he's so. Oh, look at him and his beautiful face and your little kitty. Your kitty is so shaped. Look at that, like, curly tail. The second picture looks like the bird just killed someone. I definitely guessed that it was like a food, like a raspberry or something, but I like it because it looks like Rock says he murdered someone there. He just finished tasting flesh. He just had a taste and it was exactly what he needed. He does. I love them. I love them. Barty. We're adding reactions to them. Hold on. All right. Okay, I have to go eat some salmon now. Hopefully stream tomorrow. I mean, like, there will be a stream tomorrow. I just don't know when exactly. Uh-oh. I got a text about my salmon a long time ago. Wherever it is, expect me to be there. Square. Making noodles? Noodles. Okay. Ba, ba, ba. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're playing Portal. I really need to get on scheduling my baby food, eating stream. They're all on sale right now, but they'll go off of sale for December 1st. I'm really hoping they'll, like, for some reason, like, get really, like, the price will go even lower, like, around closer to Boxing Day. I don't know why I hope that. Like, I don't know who's going to be buying. I mean, I would be buying baby food at that time, but I don't know who else is. Thank you! Have a good night! Thank you guys for hanging out and listening to the final part of Twilight. Next time on Warrior Cat Wednesday, we will be starting Sunset, the final book of the new prophecy. And then we're starting my favorite series. Okay. Let's switch screens. Where the heck is my ending screen? Oh, there it is. Boom, 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 boom. Good night, everybody. Sleep tight. Or have a good day. I don't know where you are. Good night, nerds. Peace out. Well. Make sure you, oh my gosh, use lip balm. My lips have been so dry, I wake up in the night and they're like split. Maybe I need a humidifier. I don't know. Anyways, good night, guys. Remember, moderation is the key to true happiness.